everyone, welcome to Nina Cucina. Today I am going to show you how to cut up a chicken. Now people think this is very daunting and they end up buying a chicken already cut up and paying more money for it when it's actually a pretty simple thing to do, and you can save yourself a couple bucks. Plus, I never find organic chicken already cut up. I find either the thighs or the breast, but I never find the whole chicken. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I've got on my plate here exactly how a chicken comes, with the innards and the neck and the whole chicken. Now what I've done is I've pretty much dried it off. You want to make sure that it's very dry, but I'm just going to do that again before I put it on my work surface. Now you can see that I have covered my work surface with parchment paper. Now I do that because I hate dragging this big old board over the sink and scrubbing it. And this just gives me a little bit extra protection for my cleaning. And I just, I love to cook, but cleaning, not so much. So here we have my chickens pretty dry here. Just go ahead and put it on your board. Now, I have here a good old zip top bag. And what is this for? This is for all of the bones that I do cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately put my chicken neck and the innards in there. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to put it in my freezer, and when I'm doing something mindless like sitting in front of the boob tube, instead of doing that, I'm going to get up and I'm going to throw it in a pot with a bottle of wine, some sliced onions, a few sliced carrots, and make my own stock. Keep it in the freezer. You drain it, keep it in the freezer, lasts for about a year, and next time you make soup or a sauce, your family will really love you for it because it'll be really fresh stuff. All right, so here's how we're going to start. We have two tools. I have a very sharp knife, and we have kitchen shears that have this little button that locks them. These are really sharp. They're designed to cut through bone, so they're going to be very helpful to us in this little procedure. Now, I like to start with a leg. Let's move it along, sticking to my paper a little bit here. What you're going to do is you're just going to cut along the side of the body. Moving your knife back and forth goes through the skin. You can see that this knife is pretty sharp. Let's turn it on its side a little bit. So you can see a little bit better. There we go, right through the side. And you can see that that's beginning to dismember. Now, if you have a nice sharp knife like this slicer, you can see how easily this goes. And see how that begins to lay flat and the other one is still very much attached. What you're going to do is you're going to look for the joint. And you do that by, you can feel around. I want you to get used to handling a bird. You can just simply feel around. There is a joint right here, and there's cartilage there. You can go through it with your knife, and you give a little press, a little press, a little press, and you can see that it begins to come right apart. See that? That's where the joint was, and now you have just flesh, and you can cut right through it. Get rid of that one last piece of skin, and you have your chicken leg. Now I'm going to separate these also at the end, but let's put it back on our plate for now. Let's do our other leg. I'm going to turn it towards you so you can see. I'm just cutting against the skin here, right along the side of the body. Now if you run into, like, this is just a fatty piece of skin, I like to cut that off, and I'm not going to use that for anything because that's just got lots of feathers and fat. That's not good for anything. Certainly not good for your body. Now once again, feel around for that bone. See it there? That one even just broke right apart. So all you have to do is cut right through the flesh. The secret to slicing any flesh, or anything for that matter, any piece of food, is to keep moving your knife back and forth. Onto the plate that goes. Okay, now let's do the wings. Doing the same thing, right against the body. Your knife would be flat against the body here, and it goes right through that cartilage right there. You can just see that onto the plate. You turn this birdie around so you can see this side. Put you back in here. Once again, right next to the body, sliding down the side of the body, and you'll see that it goes right through the cartilage. cut through that piece of skin there. Paper's moving a little bit, but that's okay. It saves me from cleaning. There you have that. Now you're going to turn your bird over. And right here you have the backbone of the bird. And that's what we're going to remove. There really isn't that much flesh here for a dish. I mean, it's very nice flesh in a soup. So I'm just going to cut right through the bone. And you can hear crunch, crunch. Let's turn this over because these are designed to go this way. There we go, crunch. And it just cuts right through. You might have to use a two-fisted method for a minute or two until you get it right through the bone, because this is, this is rib cage here. It's pretty tough stuff. One last squeeze, crunch. Now there you have it. That's the backbone. Now there's a little bit of flesh here, but I end up using that in soup. It makes wonderful stock. Now let's turn our birdie back over. All this extra, just kind of fatty, fleshy stuff, I like to cut off. And that's what these are wonderful for. Now you have a whole breast. Now you've seen in the supermarket when you get a whole turkey breast, this is what they're selling you. This is what they've done, exactly what we've just done. I'm going to cut off that extra piece of fatty skin. I'm not even going to use that. Now, when I cut through the breast, this is the way that I like to do it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize both of these tools probably to cut through this big bone, because this is a slicing knife. Now I could use my big Santuco and go right through the bone, but since I have these wonderful shears, why not put them to good use, right? So I'm just cutting through the skin here, and I'm just going to take this and finish the job. This is the way that I like to do it. If you have a nice big knife and you want to give it a good pound, you could do that also. I've just found this to be really effective and easy for myself. And let me tell you, I do a lot of cooking. I like easy. So I'm just going to cut through that skin right there. Get rid of that excess. No use for that. Skin's pretty fattening stuff. It has a lot of, it's where most of the cholesterol and look at the fat lies. So that's what we're going to get rid of. Now we have two big breasts. I'm not going to serve one person this big breast. Sorry, that's not portion control. So what I'm going to do is diagonally here, just so everybody gets a nice piece. Nobody needs more than about 6 ounces of flesh unless you're feeding a big football player. I'm going to do the same little trick. Slice through that flesh so it's a nice clean slice, and then I'm going to utilize my nice big shears to cut through that big bone. There we go. Now everybody has, this would be a guy portion because it's a little thicker flesh, and this would be a gal portion. Let's put those over there. I'm going to do the exact same thing with this one. Just cut through the flesh, and then for that big breastbone, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a good cut through. And any excess fat that I don't like, I can just snip right off and put it right into my garbage can, right here too. That way you're controlling everybody's fat intake. And I'm going to do the same thing with my legs. You're not getting a whole leg from me, sorry guys. I'm going to look for that joint once again, and I can see it. You can just see it popping right through here, and you can choose what you want to do. With this knife, you can just give it a little bang and it'll go right through, or you could cut through it with your shears, whichever you prefer. Have a thigh and a leg. Get rid of all the excess. No use in having that excess fat around. Goes into the garbage can. One more piece. We're going to do exactly the same thing with this one. Looking for that little knuckle, that one joint, and just give it a good little hit, and it goes right through. And all of this extra skin, just get rid of it. No extra fat in our dishes. Just good, high quality protein. There it is. It's just that simple, how to cut up a chicken.